feel like we're just scratching the surface. Like everybody asks me like where I think this is gonna go and what it's gonna be, and like I don't really have an answer, because if you would have told people this is where the WNBA is, 5 years ago, you would have said this is where we're gonna be now. People probably wouldn't have believed you, because they never thought that was possible. They never thought people would buy tickets. They never thought we'd play on ABC. Yeah. Never thought we'd be on ESPN. They never thought it would be sold out arenas, or little kids wanted to wear WNBA jerseys, whatever it was. So I think it's hard to say where it's going to continue.
The room is louder, the stakes are higher, and the story is bigger than one game. The WNBA has shifted from a niche conversation to a nightly event, and Caitlin Clark walked into that moment like a spark into dry timber. Overnight, it felt like everything accelerated, from sold-out dates to timelines overflowing with clips, debates, and hot takes. This video is not here to worship anyone or drag anyone. It is here to track what actually happened, what was alleged, what was denied, and how all of that collided with a league finally getting the attention it always chased. We will keep the tone straight, the facts clear, and the pace fast. You will hear about the legend that set expectations, the body blows that created viral storms, the numbers that paid the bills, and the rumor machines that tried to write their own endings. If you care about the game, you know the skill is the engine and the noise is the weather. Both matter, but only one wins in the long run. If you're new here, welcome. If you're out there riding with us, you already know we cut the filler and show the receipts. Tap subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next breakdown. The league is learning in public, and every night writes a new paragraph in a story you can feel even through a phone screen. Buckle up, because the most interesting part is how quickly the spotlight exposes everything. The numbers arrive first, and once you see them, the rest of the story makes more sense. When a sport jumps from background noise to front page, you can see it in 3 places at once.
Me and Caitlin Clark don't hate each other. Like, I want everybody to understand that it's just a super competitive game, and like, I would just wish people realize that, like, once I get between those lines, it's no friends. I have plenty of friends on the court that I talk to outside of the game, but like, when I get between those lines, like, we're not friends, we're not buddies. I'm gonna talk trash to you, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get in your head the whole entire game, but after the game we can kick it. Like, I don't think people really realize that, and that's fine. I'll take the villain role, I'll take the hit for it, but I know we're going women's basketball, and if this is the way we're gonna do it, then this is the way we're gonna do it. You like it or you don't.
Arena gates open and the lines get longer. Broadcast windows expand and start landing in prime slots. Merch leaves shelves in days instead of months. That is what happened as Caitlin Clark's rookie chapter overlapped with a broader wave of interest in women's hoops. The why is layered. Years of groundwork made the product better, coverage improved, stars had followings before they turned pro, and a new face with a flamethrower range gave casual viewers an easy on-ramp. Networks do not chase maybes, they chase momentum, and they started moving schedules because the demand was measurable. It didn't just feel bigger, it was bigger. That kind of surge is never polite. It changes how veterans get covered, how rookies get tested, and how every hard foul becomes a referendum on the league. Money enters the chat, sponsors get louder, and every storyline gets framed in business terms, because money is how mainstream media measures importance. The point is not that one player did everything. The point is that a player built for television arrived exactly when the market was ready to listen. The audience voted with remotes and tickets, and the scoreboard for attention kept lighting up. With that kind of heat, the first myth to crystallize was not a trophy night. It was a practice story. Before the pro headlines, a practice moment started behaving like folklore. The 22 points in 2 minutes story against the men's scout group is not a championship clip, yet it keeps showing up whenever people argue about range, rhythm, and what pressure looks like in real time. Whether you treat that number as exact or rounded, the takeaway is simpler. The shooting threat starts early, the footwork sets the table, and the release punishes hesitation. You do not need slow motion to feel why defenders panic a step past half court. It's not that practice proves everything. It's that the mechanics on display are portable. Speed of read, shot prep, and confidence travel to any gym. That's why coaches pick up higher and why teammates get cleaner lanes when gravity shifts toward the logo. The welcome to the league came not with applause, but with contact that turned into a national conversation. Pro basketball does not hand out space, it taxes it. Screens come with shoulders, cuts come with hips, and rookies who arrive with a spotlight get tested like final exams. That is normal, but there were nights when normal and too much argued in public. Contact after whistles, bumps that redirected routes, and hits that looked more like messages than plays all became shareable clips with millions of views. The debate was not whether the game is physical. Everyone agrees it is. The debate was whether the extra beat after the whistle is part of the test or part of the theater. For new viewers, it looked shocking. For veterans, it looked like history. The truth lives in the middle. Players are paid to win possessions, and they will push that boundary until the referees draw a line. A shoulder check turned into a season-long flashpoint, and the league had a way in. You've seen it by now. Before an inbound, a body collides with Clark, and the internet stops pretending it was only watching for jumpers. On review, the contact was upgraded to a flagrant 1, which gave the argument a rulebook anchor. Clark's response did not pour gasoline.
I am Caitlin Clark, and I refuse to return to the WNBA for the upcoming game against the Dream because Brittney Griner is not worthy of being my opponent. Honestly, I never thought I'd make such a decision, but after deep reflection, I've realized that the competitive spirit of this game has been compromised. Brittney Griner's presence and her style of play have completely eroded my interest in competing against her. First, I must point out that Brittney's playing style has always made me uncomfortable. She constantly relies on pushing, pulling, and even dirty fouls to gain an advantage, while the referees turn a blind eye. As a professional athlete, I find this behavior repulsive. The WNBA should be a platform to showcase true basketball skills, not a battlefield tainted by unfair tactics. Even more unsettling, while Brittney Griner has publicly identified as female, there have been persistent rumors that she may have been born with a Y chromosome or even as male, raising questions about whether she truly belongs in a women's basketball league. Brittney's presence should have been a point of pride for the WNBA, but her improper conduct and the cloud of doubt surrounding her gender have left me exhausted and disappointed in sharing the court with her. I will not return to the WNBA until the league restores its rightful purity, until the day comes when victories are earned.
On it. She shrugged into the mic and said what pros tend to say, that she grew up with physical ball and that she would keep playing her way. That posture mattered because it pulled the attention back to the part of the arena where games are decided. Still, the lesson for anyone tracking the story was direct. The league is fast, heavy, and political in the small P ways you only notice once a rookie moves ratings. A single collision can become a referendum on respect, envy, and marketing. The takeaway for a viewer is simpler. Every era had its tests. This era has cameras that never look away. While everyone argued the replay, the business side quietly hit a new gear and explained why the volume stayed high. Attention's not just noise, it's currency, and the WNBA suddenly had more of it. Draft nights drew massive audiences, regular season windows landed in better slots, and tour stops felt like events. Brands notice that math, and when they notice, budgets move. Programming moves, and even storylines bend toward whatever holds viewers. You can't separate the drama from the dollars because advertisers do not. Rivalries draw clicks. Clicks sustain highlight packages. And highlight packages create casuals who become fans. There's a risk in overcrediting a single name. This is a league-wide build, not a one-woman show. But it is fair to say that a star built for television gave networks a clean hook to sell. This is where sports and entertainment shake hands. The game is still the game. With the lights that bright, rumor engines spin faster, and you need rules for telling thunder from smoke. Here is how a rumor collects oxygen. A post opens with emotion and certainty. It grabs a partial truth, dresses it in speculation, and lets the algorithm test whether people will finish the clip. If enough do, the system pours fuel and the claim becomes common knowledge by lunchtime. Corrections do not travel the same way, because outrage is a better salesman than nuance. That does not mean you ignore what people are saying. It means you sort claims into 3 buckets. First, what is on game filling or a verified statement. Second, what is alleged but disputed. Third, what is invented and rides on shock value alone. If you keep those lines clear, you can narrate the season without poisoning the well. It keeps the tone human and the timeline honest. It also keeps you from repeating words that do real harm off the court. That brings us to the 5-second clip that had everyone lip-reading and arguing past each other. In a tense game, a sideline camera grabbed a bite of audio after a foul, and the internet did what it does best. Some listeners heard a garden variety insult. Some insisted they heard something worse.
You said you didn't remember what you said during that viral moment after you fouled out against the Indiana Fever. A lot of people believe what you said was effing white girl or effing white girls. Is it possible that's what you said?
No, would never say that. Like, there's no place for that in our league. Wouldn't say that.
So even though you can't remember, you know that was not what you said.
I know it wasn't that because I wouldn't use that type of language.
Brittney Griner later said she would not use that kind of language. The league did not announce punishment. That is the official record, and it's shorter than the arguments it sparked. Parts of the story do not change, no matter your angle. The camera did capture frustration. The clip did rip through timelines, and people did project their priors onto what they thought they heard. When you are honest about that, you stop pretending 5 seconds can hold a whole season. You also leave room for the possibility that hearing what you expect is not the same as hearing what was said. That is not fence-sitting. It's how you keep the story anchored while emotions are moving the goalposts. Another storyline moved in parallel. And this time, it was the crowd under the microscope instead of. Reports surfaced that racist language came from the stands during a heated Fever game, and the temperature jumped again. The league said it interviewed, reviewed, and could not substantiate the claims. That finding was a low hum compared to the headline that started the cycle, which is how these arcs usually go. It is tempting to stitch separate incidents together and call it a pattern. Sometimes patterns are real, sometimes they're wish casting. The only honest way through is to trace dates, sources, and outcomes, and refuse to let a scary sentence eclipse the part where officials say what they actually found. Viewers deserve that discipline. Players deserve it even more, because careers should not be shackled to narratives that arrive faster than proof. Rumors did not stop with the stands. They chased identity too, and that is where you draw a bright...
Will Bay be here?
Who?
Is Bay gonna be here?
No, he's working. Yeah. Yeah, I'm flying solo. I better get used to it, man. This is gross. This is my job.
She has the vision to find her teammates, defending her. You are in constant contradiction with yourself when you're guarding Caitlin Clark. She also has to sit there like she can't hear us talking about her, which is handling wonderfully. Caitlin, proud of you on all fronts, but proud of you for handling this.
Line. Every season generates noise, but some claims are not just wrong, they are harmful. Viral posts that say the league is secretly fielding male players or running hidden testing regimes keep coming back like weeds. They are not backed by credible evidence, and repeating them as truth is not edgy, it is reckless. Serious discussion about eligibility belongs with actual rules and actual bodies that govern sport, not with fake screenshots and manufactured shock. The strategy here is easy. Name the rumor as a rumor, say what's known, say what's denied, and move on before the mud becomes the story. If you love the game, you protect the humans who play it by refusing to treat slander like content. You still cover real controversy. You just do it with the respect you would want if the camera pointed at your family. Off the Court has its own flashpoints, and one of them refuses to leave the conversation. In 2023, a traveling Mercury squad became the center of a chaotic airport confrontation when a content creator rolled up, shouted, and made a scene that led every sports page for a day. No injuries, but lots of fallout. That clip shows up every time Griner trends, cause off-court drama glues itself to on-court reputations in ways that are not fair but are very real. You do not need to be a fan to see how it changes the temperature in the room. It turns routine travel into something that feels like surveillance, and it trains audiences to think every camera angle tells the whole truth. It does not. It tells a truth, and that is it. Part of covering this era is acknowledging that reality without letting it swallow the basketball. The last ingredient is invisible on a box score, but it shapes everything you watch. The platform does not care who wins. It cares if the thread never ends. If a rumor keeps people glued, it travels. If a clean breakdown of what actually happened keeps people watching, that travels too. This is where creators have leverage. We can chase drama for cheap clicks, or we can package what is true with enough pace and craft that viewers return for clarity rather than chaos. That does not mean turning down the volume. It means aiming it. Hook fast. Add something new every section. Keep the sentences short and land each chapter with a promise you can pay off in the next. That style respects your time and the player's reality. It earns trust, which is the only resource you cannot buy with ad spend. Trust matters even more when the schedule stacks up, the legs get heavy, and the spotlight does not blink. The pro calendar is a metronome that never stops. Rookies adjust to travel, pace, and scouting. Veterans tweak their roles when spotlights shift. Bodies complain. Groins and quads do not care about ratings, and nights off become their own headline when a name is big enough. That is the cost of attention. It weighs more than it used to, and everyone in the building can feel it. The players who last learn to box out the discourse and hunt possessions. They figure out how to carry a city without letting it drag their stride. That is why you'll keep hearing us repeat a boring truth. The game decides the story. If you're tired of timelines trying to write it for you, tune in for tip-off and let the film do the work. The rest is weather. Which brings us to the only fair way to close a season of noise, receipts, and very real basketball. Here's where we land. The WNBA is not small anymore. It has rivals that feel personal, stakes you can quantify, and nights that belong on your main screen. Caitlin Clark did not build that alone, but she did accelerate it. And the reaction to her proves how ready the audience was for a league that trusts its product. You will keep seeing flashpoints. Some will be clean, some will be messy, and a few will be ugly enough to make you question why you watch. The answer is on the floor. It's in the footwork that gets a guard a pocket of air, the timing that saves a help defender a step, the patience to turn a storm into a stop and a score. We will keep covering it with pace, with receipts, and with respect for everyone under the lights. If that's the kind of coverage you want in your feed, tap subscribe, hit the bell, and share this with someone who says they do not watch yet. The next matchup is already on the schedule, and the most interesting sentence has not been written. Next up, a rivalry game that could flip a whole narrative in 12 possessions.